Tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So today we are taking a sutta which is a sutta which I like for a few reasons. One is that it is giving a contrast against the right action and the wrong action, and also the theme which I like in the suttas, which are not talked about enough, is that when you develop one aspect of the meditation or of the practice, then the other aspects follows logically, and one follows the another, and you don't have to know the all the theory to develop your mind and develop your practice. So that is the theme which I like in many of the suttas. So I have taken such suttas before, but this is a way of wrong course and the right course. So this is from Anguttara Nikaya, book of 5, 103rd, the sutta number 103rd in the book of 5, Micchatta Sutta. So bhikkhus, in dependence on the wrong course, there is failure, not success. And how is it that in dependence on wrong course, there is failure and not success? So when you are taking a path, say if you are going in a wrong path, say once you come in a road, there are two paths you have to go. One is a path which is wrong, and one is the path which is right. So when you start off on the wrong path, then everything else starts going through that process, which is not in line with the correct path. So for one of wrong view or harmonious perspective, so one starts with the thought or view or the perception one has. So if they have a wrong perception, then what would happen is wrong intention originates. So wrong intention, it is also translated as wrong thoughts. And Bante translated wrong imaging. So if you have the harmonious perspective, then you will have a harmonious image. In the other way we are saying is, if you have a wrong kind of view, then you have a wrong intention or you have wrong thoughts. Because your view, when you start with looking at certain things as this person is bad, then whatever that person does, you feel that the person is doing bad. So all thoughts which are there for that person will be bad from your end. For one of wrong intention, wrong speech originates. So harmonious communication. So if somebody has wrong thoughts about or wrong intention about somebody or something, then what would happen is all your thoughts which are there, which will follow, will be also wrong. So when there is a harmonious perspective is there, if it is not harmonious, imaging is there, then the communication is also unharmonious. So this unharmonious communication will originate. So for one of wrong speech, wrong action originates. So one who has unharmonious communication, harmonious movements of the mind is there. So unharmonious actions are done. For somebody who has unharmonious action, will have unharmonious lifestyle, or if one of wrong action will have wrong effort. Sorry, wrong livelihood. So the wrong livelihood will follow your actions. So whatever actions you are taking, a collection of your action will be your lifestyle of your livelihood. So Bhante says that the harmonious lifestyle. So how you are living your life is also dependent on how you are doing actions. What are your actions? If your actions are unharmonious, then your life will also be unharmonious. So in that same way, for one of wrong livelihood, wrong effort originates. So one has unharmonious lifestyle, then unharmonious practice will originate. So when your livelihood is not in line with the Dhamma or in line with the truth, then what would happen is your practice also will not be in line with the Dhamma. So one wrong effort originates. For one of wrong effort, wrong mindfulness originates. So if your practice is unharmonious, then unharmonious observation of the mind is there. So you're not able to observe the mind in a line with the Dhamma or in line with the truth, in line with the reality. You are not able to look at the things as they are. So when you are trying to do your thinking or your actions or your meditation, when that would not be able to see what is happening, because it is in unharmonious observation is there. So one who has unharmonious observation will have unharmonious collectedness. So one of wrong mindfulness will have wrong concentration originates. For one of wrong concentration, wrong knowledge originates. So one person who is trying to investigate certain things or trying to look at certain things, if he is looking at it with an unharmonious observation, then what would happen is his collectedness is unharmonious. When his collectedness is unharmonious, his knowledge of whatever he has gained will be unharmonious. So what is bad, he will think as it is good. What is good, he will think as that is bad. So thus you will see that there are many people in the world, when they are doing certain bad things, they think that they are doing the right thing. They will be stealing, and they think that they are stealing for the good of others, like the Robin Hood effect. They say, oh, but I'm giving to people, I'm giving to poor people. So that is not the right way. There are many people in the Indian bureaucracy who have a system of stealing and then doing certain good things. So they when they steal, say, 100 rupees from or they get a bribe of 100 rupees, what they will do is they will say that I will put 20 rupees which is there for charity. I will take 10 rupees and I will give to somebody on an interest-free loan of our junior who are there. Then what I will do is 20 rupees which is there, then I will give to certain organizations which are doing good things. So by kind of sharing and doing certain good things, they want to kind of, they think that whatever they are doing is a good action. So their action which they are doing, they are thinking good because they start with a wrong view. That whatever action you do, then you do a corresponding good action, and then that will be all right. You can steal and then give something away. That is a Robin Hood effect. If that is that, then their thoughts will be about how to make bribes, how to steal from somebody. If that is that, then what would happen is all their communication will be related to that. If their communication is related to that, what would happen? Their actions will be of thieving. If their action are thieving, then it would have a wrong livelihood they will crave. If they are living a long livelihood, their practice is wrong. If their practice is wrong, their mindfulness will not be there. They will have a wrong mindfulness. They will not look at good things. They will look at how to bribe somebody, how to put them in a spot so that we can extract money from them. So they're all mindfulness which is there will go over there. So their concentration which is there, or their collectedness is there, that was wrong. So that would what would lead it to? It will lead to wrong knowledge. When it is leading it to wrong knowledge, it will lead to wrong liberation. So when there is leading it to wrong liberation means that one thinks that, oh, I have done my practice well, and now I don't have to do anything. I am free from my responsibilities. So that is what one of the monks who was not of Buddha's dispensation, who thought that, oh, I have done everything, my mind is now clear, so I must be an arahant. And then some deva comes to the monk and that ascetic and says that, no, you are not free from all your attachments. There are still seeds which are there, which have not been eliminated. Then this person, Bahya, I think, goes to Buddha, meets Buddha. He's in his 90s. And when the Buddha gives him a discourse, then he becomes awakened. So he gets the right knowledge. So that is how his perspective, which was there, his viewpoint, which was there, his way of thinking, which was there, perception from which he started, was wrong. That is the reason, in spite of being such a good with his Sila, being such a good with his Samadhi, but the Panya was not there. The wisdom was not there. So thus he got stuck over there. So in this same way, in dependence on wrong course, there is failure, not success. In dependence on the right course, there is success, not failure. And how is that in dependence of right course, there is success and not failure? For one of right view or harmonious perspective, there is right intention originates, or the harmonious imaging originates. For one of harmonious imaging, harmonious communication originates. For one of harmonious communication, harmonious movement of mind originates. For one who is harmonious movement of mind, harmonious lifestyle will originate. For one who has harmonious lifestyle, then a harmonious practice will originate. When there is a harmonious practice, then harmonious observation is there. When harmonious observation is there, then harmonious collectedness comes. When there is harmonious collectedness, there is the right knowledge which is there. The knowledge of how things are as it is. Yatha bhuta jnana darshana also sometimes term is used. That is originating. When that is yatha bhuta jnana darshana is there, that is also not the end. There is one step after that of having to know what is there. That is giving up. So when the giving up is there, then the right revelation originates. So that is the Nibbana which is there. So I'll just read it once from the other perspective also. For one of right view, right intention originates. For one of right intention, right speech originates. For one of right speech, right action originates. For one of right action, right livelihood originates. For one of right livelihood, right efforts originate. For one of right effort, right mindfulness originates. For one of right mindfulness, right concentration originates. For one of right concentration, right knowledge originates. For one of right knowledge, right liberation originates. In this way, in dependence on the right course, there is success, not failure. So there also we can see that how by putting your attention, or you start with your perspective, or you start with your view, or you start with your perception. And when you start with the correct perception, or the right perception, or the harmonious perception, then what would happen is all the other things will follow in line. So as we had given an example of a corrupt official, so we gave an example of a very good, honest official. So he starts with the thinking that whatever I have to do in a correct manner. I have to do it in line with precepts. So I cannot take what is not given. So I cannot have bribes. So he will start with the right perspective. Because of that, whatever intention he has in his actions, whatever thoughts he has, whatever image he keeps of himself, that will be harmonious. When that is harmonious, then what would happen is his communication with his clients or the people who he is serving will be harmonious, and it will be in line with what is true. Then when he has communication which is true, then whatever actions which are there, whatever movements which he is doing, that will be correct. When he is doing the right movements and action, then his livelihood is correct and proper and in harmony with the reality. When his livelihood is in harmony, then what his practice will be in harmony. When he's in practice, he will be able to observe in harmony. Whatever is a right thing which he has to observe, he will observe. When he's observing correctly, then what will happen is his mind will be collected. His mind will be in samadhi. He'll be able to know what is a reality and what is not reality. And thus it will lead to right knowledge. Knowledge of liberation, knowledge of non-attachment, knowledge of non-hatred, knowledge of non-delusion. That knowledge is arising. When that knowledge is arising, then the next step is the release. So when one releases all attachments, all hatred, and all delusions, then one is in Nibbana. So in that way, the person reaches his goal. So there is one other sutta. After this, I just want to give an example. So that is also giving some good examples. So in that sense, I'll just read those examples. So students, for a person of wrong view, wrong intention, wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihood, wrong effort, wrong mindfulness, wrong collectedness, wrong knowledge, and wrong revelation arises. Whatever bodily karma, verbal karma, mental karma he instigates, undertakes in accordance with that view, and whatever his volition, yearning, inclination, and volitional activities all lead to that unwished for, undesired, and disagreeable, to harm and suffering. For what reason? Because the view is bad. So when he starts with a bad view, everything else which is following that bad view is in harmful. It is painful. So the results what you get for bad view is which is bad. Suppose students, a seed of neem, bitter cucumber, or bitter gourd were planted in moist soil. Whatever nutrients it would take up from the soil and from water would all lead to its bitter, pungent, and disagreeable flavor. So because you start with the wrong seed, whatever nutrients you give, you may give the best of nutrients, but what would happen is the end result is the bitter fruit. So that is the reason your view of whatever the environment is there, your view of what is right and wrong is there, you have to be careful about. And that is why the Buddha is starting with the 5 precepts, because 5 precepts is giving the right view of the world. So without having this correct precepts and following these precepts, like not to kill, not to steal, not to have sexual misconduct, not to have the verbal has to be in harmony. In this, there are 4 things many times they are mentioned. So it is not just not to lie. It is not to lie, not to say divisive things. Means you should not go to one group and say one thing, go to another group and say another thing and make them fight. Not to say something which is harsh, using bad words, harsh words, words which will hurt. One of the terms used in suttas is harming them with verbal daggers. So that those kind of language you should not use. Then you should not use frivolous language or useless talk, that is gossiping and backbiting, and all these things you should not do. Now, and that is a speech. And then you have to not use substances which are making you intoxicated. So because we are using our mind to do all things, the view was also from the mind it is arising. The perspective is also from the mind which is arising. So the perception which is there, that is also from the mind. So the mind is polluted by these chemicals. So because that you avoid those chemicals which are like alcohol is there, which are like psychedelic chemicals are there, you avoid those things. But Buddha is not being kind of prude. So he does not say that you avoid alcohol at any cost. If that is there in the medicine, it is okay. For cough medicine, a little bit alcohol is there to relax the muscles of the neck. So when it is relaxed, then you don't cough that much. So that is okay. So if you are using it in food, and the food, say rum cake, there is a little bit of rum for taste. And when you bake it, the rum, the alcohol evaporates and you get a little bit of taste of the rum. So it is okay to have that. So we are not becoming prudent, prudish with saying that we should not have alcohol and all those things. But if it is in medical context, then okay, it is okay to have. It is in a context where it is not intoxicant. So one way of saying is that if you can have rum cake, but you cannot have rum chocolates, because when you have too many rum chocolates, you will become intoxicated. So there is a balance you have to maintain and understand that it is the intoxication which we are Buddha is saying not to do, because that chemicals when you put in the body will affect the mental things. So in that same way, the Buddha is giving you another perspective. So students, for a person of right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, right knowledge, and right liberation. Whatever bodily karma, verbal karma, mental karma he instigates and undertakes in accordance with that view, and whatever his volition, yearning, inclination, volitional activities, all lead to what is wished for, desired, agreeable, and well-being and happiness. For what reason? Because the view is good. Suppose students say seed of sugarcane, hill rice, or grape were planted in moist soil. Whatever nutrients it would take up from the soil and from the water would all lead to its agreeable, sweet, and delectable flavor. For what reason? Because the seed is good. So to a person of right view will get the good seed. So when you are starting with a good sweet seed, so if you start with a sugar cane or the hill rice, maybe that kind of a rice which is very sweet, or with the grape, when you plant those seeds and you give nutrients to it, then what would happen is the fruit which will come out will also be sweet. So in that same way, you have to be careful about what your views are there. You have to be careful about what your perception of the world is there. You have to be careful about what is your thoughts. When you are careful about your thoughts, then you will be careful about your speech. When you are careful about your speech, then you will be careful about your actions. When you are careful about your actions, your lifestyle is there, your livelihood is there, would be correct. When your life is going correctly, your actions are there, then it will be in harmony with the practice. If it is in harmony with the practice, then your observation is correct. It is you will be able to see what is good as good, what is bad as bad. So the explanation of Yatha Bhuta Jnana Darshana is that you are able to see as it is now what is there. So if there is unwholesome thought in your mind, you know there is unwholesome thought. If there is wholesome thought, you are able to know there is a wholesome thought. And you will be able to stay with that thought which is wholesome. That is your collectedness, your mind being able to see the thoughts. When their mind is there collected and able to see the correct thoughts, then what would happen? The knowledge which you gain would be the correct knowledge, the knowledge of liberation, knowledge of non-attachment, knowledge of non-hatred, knowledge of non-delusion. When that is there, you by this thing you will have dispassion and disenchantment. So when you have disenchantment, you will have dispassion. So when you are disenchanted and dispassionate, then what would happen is there will be a liberation. Then you will have the knowledge that I have been liberated. And that is how this cycle works, and it starts with the right view. So what you have to do is continuously do the practice in the correct manner. I'll just share this document once again because the people who come later will not be able to see what I had shared earlier. So you can download, and I have also shared this document on the WhatsApp group, to Asia group. And we will also, if we put this on the YouTube in the comments, I will upload it on the Google Drive and give a link over there. So you can go through this sutta. And the next sutta is 104, book of 504. That sutta is what I had given the examples of the seeds. So is there any questions anybody wants to ask? You can ask questions regarding this sutta or some other clarification regarding practice or any other topic also. Yes.
Hi, Bhante. Thank you for the sutta. Yeah, it was very interesting to me. It's quite short, but there's a couple of different ways we can look at it. One is really interesting. It's just basically going down the Eightfold Path. And what I noticed in some suttas, in some conversations, all of the Eightfold Path qualities are kind of to be developed side by side. But in this one, they go one to the next, to the next, to the next. And another way of looking at it is the in terms of factors to be developed, right? And I noticed usually the first 8 factors are a Sri mantra, right? But then the 10 factors are the arahant that has the knowledge and the liberation. So I thought it was interesting that it was kind of connected those together in a way. And I guess I don't really have a question per se, but the context is interesting, right? You mentioned this sutta was given to a monk that was practicing the wrong way, right? So what do you think is the main the main message? Is he talking about is Buddha talking about the factors? Is he talking about the path in general, the Noble Eightfold Path, or what is the best way of
the
looking
Buddha
at it?
is talking about the start. The start is very important. Well begun is half done. There is an English saying. So we have to begin with the right place. So when you think about the 7 factors of awakening also, so you think of 7 factors of awakening, the mindfulness is the first factor over there. Okay. Over here, it is the 7th factor. So those things are mentioned because it is in the right place, in the right context. Those factors are mentioned in different places. So when you have right mindfulness, what would have is that you have the right investigation. When you have right investigation, you can have the energy which is there. You can manage the energy. When you are sitting in meditation, what is the most important thing? Your observation. That is mindfulness. When you are observing what is there, then you know that, okay, my mind is going over here. I'm restless, say, or I'm dull. You know, I'm dull or I'm restless. When you are restless, what is happening is you are giving more energy. So what is, you have to balance your energy. You have to reduce your energy. So if you are becoming dull, what is happening is you have too less of energy. Then you have to take interest and give a little bit of energy. So now that has happened. When that is happening, your mind is becoming more comfortable. So what happens? Joy automatically arises. When the joy is there, then the body becomes comfortable. So that is passaddhi. So that tranquility will arise automatically. When the body is tranquil, then what would happen is you will have the samadhi, which is the ability to stay with the. So if your mind is restless, you will sit. The sitting will be shorter. If your mind has dullness, your sitting will be shorter. But say if you are very comfortable in body, you are joyful, then what would happen? The sitting can go on. It can go on for 2 hours. It can go on for 3 hours. Why this happens? Because your mind is, so that is the function of samadhi, being able to be with the object of meditation. That is the function of samadhi. When the function of samadhi is there, equanimity arises. So your mind is balanced. So when some pain arises, meditation pain, your mind does not wobble. When there is a joy is there, then you don't go chasing after joy. So your balance is there. So that balance which is there will lead you further. And when these things are in balance, you attain the second, the next stages. You become dispassionate, disenchanted, and then the nibbana occurs. That is when you go into cessation. So that is how this 7 factors work. Now there are other factors also the Buddha says about other ways also the Buddha is talking about how one thing leads to another. So I will go through one other sutta which is there. I like that sutta a lot. I have taken that sutta a few times. So students, for a virtuous person, that is one keeps precepts, Shila, who follows the Shila, no volition need be exerted. Let non-regret arise in me. So when who follows the precepts, there will not be anything that non-regret should arise. It will automatically arise. For one who without non-regret, no volition need be exerted. Let joy arise in me. It is natural that joy arises in one without regret. For one who is joyful, no volition need be exerted. Let rapture arise in me. It is natural that rapture arises in one who is joyful. One who is rapturous mind, no volition need be exerted. Let my body become tranquil. It is natural that the body of one who is rapturous mind is tranquil. For one tranquil in mind, no volition need be exerted. Let me feel pleasure. It is natural that one tranquil in body feels pleasure. For one feeling pleasure, no volition need be exerted. Let my mind be collected. It is natural that the mind of one feeling pleasure is collected. For one who is collected, no volition need be exerted. Let me know and see things as they really are. So when you are able to be in a meditation and be able to see what is arising and falling, then you know what is the reality. When your mind is in samadhi, you know yatha bhuta jnana darshana. So let me know and see things as they really are. It is natural that one who is collected knows and sees things as they really are. For one who knows and sees things as they really are, no volition need be exerted. Let me be disenchanted. It is natural that one who knows and sees things as they really are disenchanted. So when you know that this is impersonal, then that your desire may come up. I want to have an ice cream. But you know this is an impersonal thing because your mind is collected. And you are seeing how this is there. You're seeing this impersonal, impersonal. Then you say, okay, this is just a thought. Then you will be able to let that go. It is natural that one who knows and sees things as they really are is disenchanted. For one who is disenchanted, no volition will be exerted. Let me be dispassionate. So when that thought comes, he does not even go towards that. He does not even, his mind does not even bend towards that thing. So that is dispassion. For one who is dispassionate, no volition may be exerted. Let me realize the knowledge and vision of liberation. It is natural that one who is dispassionate realizes the knowledge and vision of liberation. So the Buddha is giving the other way of also reaching that same path, the path of Sila. But in the Eightfold Path also there is Sila. So when we say that there is no speech, the correct harmonious communication is there. Okay. Then there is a harmonious action is there. There is a harmonious livelihood is there. What is this? These are Sila. Samadhi is the practice, observation and collectedness. Panya is what? Your ability to have the right view and the right intention. So those things are also there in this Eightfold Path. And the other way of also reading. So Buddha is teaching his teaching in different manners, in different situations, in different group of participants, and where the inclination is there. Like when he goes to Kalamas, he does not teach them Anapanasati. He teaches them the Brahma Vihara practice. He starts with Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha. Because that is something universally they can feel. There is no opposition to Metta. You say you have to be good with somebody. Nobody will oppose that. We have to have compassion for somebody. Nobody will oppose compassion. Nobody will oppose the being joyous for others' happiness. Nobody will oppose being in equanimity. So Buddha teaches this in the manner to Kalamas because that is the right place and right forum for him to teach that. So why we ask our online teachers and all those things to also come in the Zoom and give that this thing views is because we are able to look at it with different angles, with different point of views. And when we are looking at this different point of views and different perceptions, then we enhance our knowledge and understanding. So that is the reason by starting with the correct perspective, then you will be able to enhance in these things. So as you kind of correctly pointed out, this is going through one path. There are other paths also where you will be able to see. And the 37 kind of factors of awakening, there are many factors which are repeated many times. Like faith is repeated in a few times, or then the mindfulness is there. So mindfulness is there in the Eightfold Path and also in the 7 factors of awakening. So those things are repeated. So then there are 5 powers are there and 5 faculties, 5 powers. 5 faculties, 5 powers are same, but they are in different contexts. First, you started faculties and then they become power. But they are the same 5 factors. So in that way, the Buddha is teaching in different manners, his teaching. So it is more and more people, because everybody has a perception, everybody has a lens. I have a very visible lens which is there as a specs. So you can say I have 2.75 vision, but for our perception, we don't have that knowledge that we have 2.5 correction of our perception. But you have to think in different manners and what appeals to us. And that is the reason perception also, when he says, Buddha says to develop perception. Sometimes he says you have to develop perception of impermanence. Sometimes he says perception of dukkha. Sometimes he says perception of impersonality. Sometimes he says perception of death. So in different manners, there are lists of perception given in Anguttara Nikaya. So I'll maybe sometime I'll take, because there are very small suttas. Then maybe I'll start doing something like take a group of suttas or 3 or 4 suttas. We ended up taking 3 of those suttas. We ended up reading over here. So in that same manner, I'll try and take that. In perception is a very kind of a very neglected part of it. In Buddhist circles, I never hear anybody talking about other than the death or other than the Ashubha. Ashubha is one of the perception Buddha kind of encourages of unbeautiful, perception of unbeautiful. So, but that is a different perception he's giving, because different situation requires a different lens from you to use. So like different eye is there, then different lenses are used in that same manner. So very good observation. Any other questions? You may ask about anything. Okay, I think everybody understood perfectly. So, okay, if there is no other questions, okay, Sachin, yes, very good.
But it's really good sutta, like it's small sutta, but it indicates what is wrong view and what is right view. It's really very good sutta.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you all.
Sadhu, sadhu. Okay, Kunal, do you have a question? Okay. Okay, then we'll share merits and next Sunday, we are not sure who will come. So we are still looking for a speaker. If nobody comes, then I will maybe have to come in the Sunday also. So let us see what happens. And by the way, I have a good news that Sister Khema's ashes are finally traveling to Dhammasukha. So David had agreed to kind of keep the stupa open. So when her ashes comes, it will be added. And then the final sealing off of the stupa will happen. And then Pierre, her student and her supporter for a long time, he is going to bring some amount of ashes to India. He'll go. He'll meet me in Deer Park, and we will give that. Then I'm going to Jethwan, so I'll give a certain ashes to Jethwan, and they are also planning a stupa, but maybe in the future when they have resources. But her kind of dhatu, which we call basically, is will be there. Bhante Vimal Ramsi's dhatus is already there in Jethwan. So she and Bhante's dhatu, we may have a stupa made in Jethwan also. So this is a development. So now we'll share the merit, and hope everybody has a nice day and nice week, and hope to see you on Sunday. If nobody else comes, then we'll be there. May suffering ones be suffering free. May the fear-struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief, and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Bante.